This is Bumper to Bumper Radio, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. Bumper to Bumper, helping you and your car feel better. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Good morning, everyone. I stepped out of my garage this morning. Actually, I've got a carport. I'm not wealthy. And I enjoyed the weather, and I thought, man, this is why I live here. It's a fantastic day. I couldn't be any happier with it. Welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio. He is Matt Allen, and we are your KTAR car guys. You can join us every Saturday at this time from 11 to noon right here on News Talk 92.3 KTAR. At Bumper to Bumper Radio, we're helping you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. If you've got car questions, we've got answers, and we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And you can also get a hold of us on your smartphone by texting us at 411-923. Again, 411-923. Today on the Bumper to Bumper Roadmap, a little bit of fact or fiction, open phones, tune-ups, and we brought in a little East Coast flavor to help us help you with your car. And who do we got in here?
Well, you guys will have to guess where he's from on the East Coast, but maybe it won't be too hard. We'll take some questions about that one. But Joel from Arizona Imports and Bill's Beamers are combined, so welcome, Joel. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for letting me come here today.
We have an interesting topic, and if you want to call in now and tell us what you think the answer is, 277-5827 at 602-277-KTAR. But we're going to talk about tune-ups. And, it used to be a tune-up was you had to actually tune the engine. You're tuning the carburetor, you're setting the dwell and the timing. Those days are gone. Joel, what's a tune-up, Joel? Do you know?
I don't know. We were laughing the other day because we had to take out a timing light, and I haven't even seen a timing light in the last 4 or 5 years.
That's a relic, huh?
Yeah.
What the heck is dwell? I remember reading about that somewhere.
Yeah, that was. I don't know. I have a dwell meter. We used to use the dwell meter on setting the GM electric carburetors. You had to go in and tune those and set the points, and it was every year or so, I guess. When I started getting in the car business in the 80s, the tune-ups were still there, but you weren't so much working on the no points to replace. So back in the day, your father's Oldsmobile was points, plugs, condenser, wires, cap, rotor. Nowadays, you're lucky if you are lucky to have spark plug wires, maybe. And instead of having one ignition coil, you've got 4 or 6 or 8. But again, what is a tune-up? Joel, we get this question. You get it at your shop. Somebody will call and say, how much for a tune-up? And I think now that's really code language, and they don't know they're talking in speaking in code,
yeah,
right?
When they come in today and they tell us we need a tune-up, our first question is, what's wrong? What's happening? Because when someone says they need a tune-up, it's usually a symptom of something, car running bad, shaking, lights on, whatever. Tune-ups really don't fix anything. They're pure maintenance.
Right. Well, in the computer now, we've had my 77 Datsun 280Z had a computer. That was really sophisticated fuel injection at the time, and yeah, you had spark plug wires and spark plugs that wore out in 15 or 30,000 miles. But now, a tune-up would typically be replace the spark plugs. So you go to your drive-through tune-up shop, 49 for the 4-cylinder, 69. Those days are over. And if you are at that place and they still have that sign up, maybe it's time to put it in reverse and
Find something else.
Yeah, and get out, because the computer is what's tuning the car constantly. It's making up for wear and tear in the engine. It's making up for restrictions in the throttle body and dirt.
And it's really good at it as long as it has a bunch of good inputs. So
yes.
It's using 15 different inputs to say, oh, we need a little more of this, a little less of that, a little more of that, a little more idle, a little less idle, whatever it may be.
So nowadays, Joel, we can see a tune-up. We'll still use the word a little bit because that's what people understand to explain things. But these spark plugs last 100,000 miles sometimes.
That's what we were talking about before the show. Spark plugs used to be $2-3. Now, just the other day, we have a car. Spark plugs are $29.95 each just for the parts.
What kind of car was that?
A Subaru.
$29.
And that's not that uncommon. Another thing is to put the right spark plug in. Not every car gets one brand of spark plug. Does your car have iridium plugs, laser plugs?
Well, and that's the difference. Somebody will call and say, how much for a tune-up? Again, that's a whole other topic, is calling and trying to get a price because you don't know. But is the guy screwing in 99-cent Bosch Platinums from AutoZone, or is he putting in the right? Well, maybe it is a Bosch in your Mercedes, but it's not the 99-cent version. It's the $19 or the $29 version.
That's what we talked about before. Also, it's a lot of times your car's in there and the technician recommends spark plugs. You're due for spark plugs, and we go to order them, and you look on the screen, and we like to put in the factory spark plugs, the NGK or the Denza, whatever the car came with, the right one. Not to save someone money, to put the right thing in, because in the long run, then you are saving them and helping them out.
Well, and the labor to get to these spark plugs oftentimes is huge. So you might go cheap, and somebody might do it because they think you're doing a favor. We talk about people getting, I don't want to say ripped off because I obviously just said it, but there's incompetence. People think they're doing you a favor by maybe saving you, $60 on a 6-cylinder spark plug replacement. But when the labor's $300,
shortcuts don't save you any money, I don't think, when it comes to auto repair. The one thing I was thinking about was valve adjustments. And valve adjustments, people don't like doing them. Auto shops sometimes will do the work they like doing. Valve adjustments are something that causes a lot of drivability issues. And on the import carts, it should be something done 80,000 miles, 100,000 miles.
Absolutely. Honda recommends it on certain mileages. A lot of manufacturers do. We spoke earlier about Subarus. Certain Toyotas all have pucks that you have to do a valve adjustment. Very costly, very labor-intensive, and time-intensive. Most of the Hondas and Nissans, they should have valve adjustments pretty much every 30,000 miles, as long as they're mechanical valves. And you need someone competent to do that job. It's not just something that anybody's going to do.
Yeah, that's not just your guy at the quickie shop or anything like that. And like Dave said, a lot of shops don't want to do them. They're expensive. And oftentimes, it used to be you look under the hood on the Hondas. Does this one need a valve adjustment? You look up and see what the spec is. Yeah, we can adjust. If it does have adjustable, it doesn't have hydraulic tappets. But we see at the Honda V engines, V6s with their tight valves. That's the famous one. You get the oxygen sensor code. First thing that comes from the other shop with the oxygen sensor on it still has the problem. And
the misfire codes on the Hondas. And if you don't adjust your valves, you'll wind up with a really costly repair, such as a burnt valve, where you can, instead of a $200 valve adjustment on some cars, you can wind up with a $4,000 valve job just because you did not adjust the valves at the right time.
What about, I think that's one of the most overlooked things, but a tune-up could also be something as simple as a throttle body cleaning and an upper engine decarbon. That's going to do a heck of a lot more for you at 60,000 miles than replacing spark plugs that aren't due to be replaced yet.
I agree. I've been a technician for 30 years, and I was never big into the cleanings and the decarbonings, but the last 10 years have changed my opinion totally. Carbon buildup is the biggest fight we have now, and it's getting greater every day with direct injection cars and poor quality fuels.
Well, what started this conversation while we were talking about this today is you said you had a car come in, it was a G35 or FX something or other, and they came in and they said they wanted a tune-up, and the tune-up was not what they needed.
No.
What did they need?
They needed cam and crank sensors, and they were told they needed a tune-up.
Told they needed a tune-up.
Now, did they have a check engine light on?
Check engine light was on, and there was a clear-cut code for crank sensor, and the crank sensor, I don't know, they overlooked it. It turned out it needed a crank sensor and a cam sensor. Somebody had just put some spark plugs in it.
Yeah, I mean, the carbon buildup, what you were saying, is a big thing. But we had a car the other day, had a cam sensor code. It had nothing to do with the cam sensor. The car, Joel, we talked about this because you helped me on the car a little bit. It was low on oil, 3 quarts of oil. Well, the car uses variable valve timing, uses high-pressure oil to adjust the camshaft. That without the right oil in the car, that system is out of whack, and the computer doesn't know what's going on.
Well, when we come back, we got open lines at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. You can also text us at 411-923. You're listening to Bumper Radio.
Next to your family, there's nothing more precious than your castle, right? Kaiko Roofing understands that, which is why we are crazy about quality and protecting you, your loved ones, and your biggest investment. Don't wait for an emergency at your castle. If your roof is more than 10 years old, have the trusted pros at Kaiko Roofing give you a free inspection today. Flat, foam, tile, or shingle, Kaiko handles them all. From a small leak to a complete new roof, Kaiko has you covered. At Kaiko, we're proud to install peace of mind by using only the finest materials with the most skilled workers, all backed by the industry's best owner's pride guarantee. Since 1994, Kaiko has repaired or replaced tens of thousands of valley roofs, with over 50% of our business coming from referrals or repeat customers. In fact, over 98% of our customers say they would refer us to a friend or family member. For a free checkup and financing options, call 602-944-4600 or go to KaikoRoofing.com for more details. Kaiko Roofing. We're crazy about quality.
Respect, dedication, fanatics. 3 words that describe both the players and fans at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Respect comes in all shapes and sizes, and Waste Management continues to lead the charge in making the tournament the greenest sporting event on earth. Nowhere is dedication more evident than the 16th hole. And fanatics? Well, we've got them both inside and outside the ropes. Be a part of the action January 27th through February 2nd at TPC Scottsdale. Visit WMPhoenixOpen.com for more details.
There have been so many changes in Phoenix over the past couple of decades, but one thing has not changed in all that time. Kurtz. Family owned and operated, Kurtz Auto Repair has been reliably servicing and repairing vehicles for Valley car owners for over 24 years. Just 1 block east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue in Bell, Kurtz has done it all with a perfect Better Business Bureau record. For service, call 602-588-2878 or check them out online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurtz.
Bumper to Bumper on News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and we brought down Joel Bartko from Arizona Import Specialist, who is in Tempe, not too far from Tri-City Transmission, a little bit further from Virginia Auto. But we talk all the time on the phone about how to fix cars because, you know, in our business, you don't take your car to one shop. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes because we're always looking for the best way to take care of your car. And so we communicate as shop owners on a regular basis. But, you know, there's something going on really exciting right now. Barrett Jackson, Matt and I were fortunate enough to get invited from those guys from New Image Auto Body last week who were on the show. They had some suite passes. They had a little suite there and food and got to watch some cars go for $150,000. Nothing for $4 million like that Batmobile. And
just when you think you got a leg up, you know you're doing pretty well, and you go out there and get put right back into reality.
Sick money. My money is like sofa money to these people.
Yeah, my entire year's salary is what they dropped what you find in the pockets of the couch.
But I've been out there almost 2 or 3 times now. I think Matt are going to slip out there tonight also and get a little more Barrett Jackson activity in. But it's a good time. It's insane to see money go like that.
If you like, there's everything out there, old nostalgic. Gas pumps and signs and new cars and show cars and you name it, fair food, turkey legs. I mean the whole deal. But if you are you don't have to be in love with cars or be a car fanatic to enjoy the stuff out there. And I like watching it on TV too. You know the auctioneer gets rolling and there's going to be some stuff today. Those Hot Wheels, the Snake and Mongoose truck and race car from the 70s. Someone's going to spend some big coin on those cars.
I get serious automotive envy when I go down there, but that's not hard because I drive a Honda Element. We're going to go with Bob in Phoenix on a 2008 Infiniti G35. Go ahead, Bob. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Good morning. Thanks, guys. The TPM light is on my G35, and the dealer wants about $300 to replace those tire pressure monitors and suggests I do all 4. Is there a way to just turn the light off since I check my tire pressure regularly anyway?
Well, Bob, the only way to turn the light off is to actually fix the problem. And I'm not sure if the legislation is in Arizona yet, but in California, you cannot, if that car comes in with the light on or if you do something to cause that light to be on when the car leaves, it has to be fixed. There's, the attorneys are all over this and they want to make something of it. But my suggestion to replace them. The dealer's right. You should do all 4, but you don't have to do all 4. There's a lot of labor involved in there. So in order to get the light out, I would fix the one that you need to get fixed to make that work.
Well, you can do them a la carte, one at a time if you want, or you can say, you know what, I know eventually within the next year or 2 I'm going to need to do all of them, so I can knock them all out now, or just do it a la carte.
Well, I want the economies of scale. Fix the one, make the light go out, so when you have a problem, you know you have a problem. It's not any cheaper to do all 4 at once than it is to do them a la carte one at a time. Second to that, take advantage of when you need new tires. If you're going to need new tires in the next year, fix the one now. The tires are coming off anyway to do
right.
the valve, to do the replacement of the valve. So wait and do them when you replace your new when you install new tires.
Yeah, your labor's free then when you're getting the tires. Average life of those sensors is about 5 years. They told us when they came out. We're just starting to see them going bad rapidly on a lot of cars. I'm getting more and more of them every day.
Yeah, good question, Bob. And don't ignore it, though, because when you really do have a problem, you're not going to know it. So
well, the problem is you're running down the highway at high speeds, and this came out of the Ford Explorer rollovers. You're running down the highway, your tire's low, you have no idea. You did check your tires before you left the house, but somewhere between here on I-10 halfway to L.A., you picked up a nail. Now it's low. That's why it's a safety feature. Hey, we know we got a low tire. Let's pull over, see what's going on. So, great question. Thanks, Bob. 602-277-5827. 602-277 KTAR. We're going to go with Robert in Santan on a 2006 Honda Civic. Go ahead, Robert. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, guys. I bought this Honda Civic, and I've been trying to get the emissions to pass. And basically the battery was taken out and rehooked up again. All the connections on the battery look kind of corroded, so we cleaned them off. And now we have the OB tester. You put it in,
right,
to test to see if it's going to go through emissions yet. And we've been driving it for about 800 miles, and we're trying to get it going to the point where we're trying to get past emissions so we can put it up.
Okay, so you don't have a check engine light on or anything like that, no code set. I think what you're talking about is the readiness monitors are not completed yet. Is that right?
Right. How long does it really take? I mean, we've been driving for like 800 miles now.
Well, a couple things have to happen there, and the answer is it just depends. Joel's shaking his head. I know these things make us crazy at times, but
it depends. First, you need to see which one didn't complete. And I'm guessing off the top of my head it's going to be the evap one.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hardest one to complete. But if you're not getting a failure, you're not knowing why. I think 800 miles, it has nothing to do with mileage. It has to do with trips and time. Usually I tell my customers 2 to 3 days normal driving, you should be good. 800 miles, you should have failed or passed something at this point.
Right, but if it's around town, first off, for the evap to run, you have to have a certain ambient temperature. I think it has to be over 70 degrees.
And between 3/4 and a quarter tank of fuel.
Yeah, I tell people have over a half a tank of gas, or the monitor may not run. And then otherwise, you need to get some trips. So my suggestion would be get your first cold start. You want to just let the car run for 30 seconds or so and warm up. Then drive slow, no heavy acceleration, 2 miles or so, get on the freeway. Then once you get on the freeway, you're going to accelerate up to 55, and then you're going to go 55 to 75, slow back down, speed back up gently, coast back down. That's going to exercise the catalytic converter and the oxygen sensors. Joel, you've got...
I'm just thinking that the key would be which monitors are not complete. You might need someone professional to look at it. I've seen cars where when you turn off the key, all the memory's lost, everything's reset, and every time you start that car, you're defeating what you're trying to do.
We have a Dodge Caravan in the shop with that same problem. We test it. We're going to take it down for the guy as a courtesy. Yep, looks like it's ready to go. We send our runner down, gets there, failed. Come back. All the monitors are clean. We check it. Every time you shut the key off,
losing power to the computer.
Losing power to the computer and losing the memory. So
we had one. It was a Cadillac. We did some transmission work, and that was all done, and that's why she wasn't passing emissions. But we couldn't get the evap or whatever it was to reset, and there was a cold weather, so the lady literally had to drive it up to Payson, because it had to get to a certain temperature to make it work. Some sort of monitor was, but that's what the fix ended up being. But it was me and Air Park Auto trying to get this lady's readiness monitors to go through. So.
Yes, and Joel, what's the other hard one? Volvo.
Oh, Volvo's pre-95 Volvo. Good luck. That's just massive amount of driving. Volvo has Boltons on that and everything.
And what we're talking about here is OBD2 cars, anything that is 1995 and older. Newer. Correct.
96 and newer.
96 and newer. It self-tests. So when you go to the emission station, they don't put the sniffer in your tailpipe and run the car on the dyno. They just ask the car, how are we doing? And the car tells them how the car is doing. And the check engine light is the car saying, we're not doing well, you need to fix something. Well, after you fix that something and you reset everything, the car has to run some self-tests, and we're referring to those as readiness monitors.
Was that a 96 Civic?
2006 Civic.
So the older they are, you can get away with not having a monitor reset.
I knew those had ignition switch problems, and that's what I was thinking on that.
Yeah. And here I go again, Dave. The monitors are just difficult. I mean, and we can look up for each car, and there's a suggested drive cycle. There's some of the computers we have at my shop. We have a lot of the factory scan tools. You can force the monitors to run right in the shop through the computer without having to go drive it. We can look up and tell exactly how to drive the car. Sometimes the manufacturer has a recommended way.
Well, when we come back, we've got Paula, Henry, George, and Dan, and open lines at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. You can also text us at 411-923. You're listening to Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, this is Greg LaFonsi of Automotive Diagnostic Specialties. Yes, we realize this is a long name to remember, but most of our customers know us simply as ADS. ADS is a family-owned and operated, state-of-the-art, full-service automotive repair facility with an expert staff that has helped us earn the coveted AAA Top Shop Award as one of the best shops in the nation for the second straight year in a row. We are honored, humbled, and dedicated to providing the same level of service to you and your family. We will always strive to get it done right the first time so that you'll leave with a smile on your face after every repair or service. ADS is a bumper-to-bumper radio approved shop with a long name but a short, simple goal. Customer satisfaction is our number one priority, and everything else takes care of itself. Just east of I-10 on Chandler Boulevard, ADS proudly serves Ahwatukee, Chandler, Tempe, Gilbert, and Southeast Phoenix. Stop by or check us out at automotiveddiagnosticspecialties.com today.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions, for the past several decades, we've been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at TriCityTransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.
We loved our Prius, but 8 years later, it had lost its zip and fuel economy. The dealer told us the only answer was to replace the battery to the tune of $4,000 to $6,000. Ouch! Then we found the hybrid shop at Good Works Auto Repair. For a fraction of the cost, they conditioned the battery like new. The zip is back, and we're once again over 40 mpg. We're ecstatic.
A hybrid owner's dream come true. Check out the hybrid shop at goodworksautorepair.com.
After 14 years in the States, mostly spent here in the Valley, I was getting bloody frustrated with the treatment I was receiving from dealerships on the maintenance and repairs of my vehicles. I finally reached out to a friend who told me I was crazy not to try Virginia Auto Service. Being a mom with a busy schedule, children, and work, I took my friend's advice and gave Virginia a try. What a refreshing difference. From the first step through their doors, their staff was accommodating and understanding. Robert explained in plain English what I needed to have done, but also why. They went out of their way to make sure that the experience was convenient, with door-to-door shuttle service by a lovely man named Bergie. Several years and a number of visits later, the experience is always the same. They tell me what is necessary right now and what is not. This is Victoria, and I don't know much about cars, but I do know that from boot to bonnet, Virginia Auto Service knows how to take care of their customers. Check them out online at virginiaautoservice.com.
It sounds like they've just had the accurate automotive experience. We're family owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, oh yeah, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherby, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive, the home of friends serving friends.
Golf fans, have you purchased your Southwest Section PGA Golf Pass yet? It's the best golf deal in the Valley, giving you up to 50% off rates of more than 60 courses. Plus, you get a free round of golf with purchase. That's right, a free round of golf. Along with great rates, the Golf Pass also has discounts on food and beverages, merchandise, and even golf lessons. It's easy to get. Go to the teatimestore.com or visit any participating golf facility. Don't delay. Get your Southwest Section Golf Pass and free round of golf today at the teatimestore.com.
This is Bumper to Bumper, News Talk 92.3, KTAR.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio.
You stole my thunder, Dave. What's up with that?
I thought I was going.
Oh, man, pay attention.
You know what? I get so tired of hearing that commercial of Victoria talking about Virginia Auto Service. Let me tell you, folks, there's nobody such as Victoria. That's actually Matt doing his best English accent impression.
Victoria is a real customer.
I don't know. Boot de bonnet. She's a mom.
That's right. And we take care of her car very well at Virginia Auto Service.
All right.
So much that she wanted to come in and do our commercial for us. So how about that?
Well, I really want to meet Virginia because I asked Edith, and she said, "Oh, Matt's got an incredible English accent that he never lets you see."
It's Victoria. It's Victoria.
Victoria, right. Virginia Auto Service. We got a couple of texts here. It says, I'm having, let's see, Ray has got a 1998 Chevy S10. He's got a continuous misfire in cylinder number 3. Sounds like he's tried everything.
Bosch spark. He went from spark plug wires. That's probably not the problem. I think the first thing I would be doing would be a compression test. Let's make sure that cylinder is still able to fire that spark plug. We get bit sometimes.
Back to basics.
Back to basics. I mean, Joel, car comes in with a misfire. It's on number 4 cylinder. You might take the number 4 coil, switch it with number 3, go drive the car. The misfire followed where you moved. So you think, oh, that's the problem, or it didn't follow. You see a spark plug that's nasty, you replace the spark plug. Next thing, still doing it, compression. And you don't even think about it.
All cars, no matter how sophisticated, still need air, fuel, and spark to run, and a lot of us get involved with the computer parts and forget to check the basics a lot of times.
Start overthinking.
We've got another one here. We've got a 79 Jeep carbureted. He lives at 67th Avenue and Happy Valley Road, and he's looking for a good shop. That's going to be Kurt's Auto Repair up on I-17 in Bell. Fantastic. They'd be happy to work on that car for you.
And now that car is something that does need to be tuned. He's got a he's got an aftermarket camshaft in it, the text says. It's carbureted. It sounds like it's hopped up a little bit. That car is going to need constant annual tweaking, probably.
I got another text here that it's just an autocorrect nightmare. So if you get another chance, your phone number ends in 0576. I can't quite make it out. I hate autocorrect. I tried turning it off on my phone, but my spelling is so bad I had to turn it back on. So let's go with Henry in Scottsdale on a 1999 Mitsubishi. I think I picked the right one.
Which
Go ahead.
one is Henry, Dave? Oh, on the top there. All right.
There.
I'm reading something else.
Go ahead, Henry. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. I had a suggestion. In light of Barrett Jackson, maybe play for your bumper music some of those old commercials from the 50s, like Picture You Today in a Chevrolet.
We should do that.
We do need a mix of music, or maybe you can just come in. We'll bring you back, and you can sing us out to our break, maybe with that old Chevy commercial, Henry.
Well, Henry had a suggestion. Was there anything going on with this car? Did you have anything going on with your Mitsubishi?
Yeah, well, actually, it's quite not about my Mitsubishi. I had a thought. I mean, they asked me for a car, so I had to give one of my cars. I was thinking about a charity kind of thing for like Mother's Day, or women or families who are suffering with their vehicles. A day where they can bring the car in and get it looked over for free, maybe an oil change or something, because I've been very fortunate in my business. I own a driving school, and I try to help people out on Craigslist. I'll go over and change a battery or, check on something for them just to, give back. we all do well with auto repair, or else, we'd be poor. We try. So I thought maybe it'd be a good idea if shops got together or something and had, like, thank you day, or, help the moms out, help the kind of things out.
That's a great idea, and we do that. We had the radiothon here with KTAR at Phoenix Children's Hospital. The group of the Bumper to Bumper shops got together, and we got over $10,000 donated to Phoenix Children's Hospital, and you can't go wrong helping the kids.
And as far as all of us, whether you own a shop or you're just somebody in your community, it's never hard to help out your neighbor. We all need to look after the neighbors in our community, help them out, whether you got a shop or whether you just want to do something good for someone. It's always a good idea. We're going to go with George in Mesa on a 1996 Van E250. Go ahead, George. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
All right, that's a B250. It's got a 318 motor. What's happening is I start it, and you feel the idle want to dive, and then it may recover, but it still feels kind of low. Even a cold start, it should start with a higher idle, but it's still at a low idle when it's cold.
Okay, well, there's a couple things happening there, George. Just like a carbureted car, you're going to use a choke. This car is fuel injected, so it's going to use temperature sensors. The car needs to know it's 40 degrees outside or 100 degrees outside. Then it can determine how much fuel it's going to deliver, how much it's going to open the idle air control motor to let.
He just needs a tune-up.
Yeah, right. No, a tune-up is not going to fix. Oh, I don't know what a tune-up is.
Right. Back to our conversation.
Does his idle come back up once it warms up?
Well, even on that van. So, it's not going to need a tune-up. But the way that idle goes up, the computer then, based on information from different sensors with the temperature, there's an idle air control motor it's just basically a controlled vacuum leak is what it is. And that's going to raise the idle or lower the idle depending on where it's positioned or where the computer tells it to go. That may get hung up with carbon buildup. The motor can't react fast enough. So a cleaning might take care of that, a throttle body service in engine decarbon. It could have a bad idle air control motor, or it could have something totally unrelated to that. So that's something where everybody thinks there's that magic machine you plug in. You just plug it in and it tells you what's wrong, right, Joel? You got one of those?
I got 3 of them.
It's the interpretation of the data that we get out of the machine. So,
yes.
We're going to go there, and we were having a conversation before the show. The later the model car, we do get better information from the computer, but the cars are getting more complex, and so the interpretation of it can get even harder. So we're going to go with Paula in Scottsdale on a 2005 Hyundai. Go ahead, Paula. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
I have had difficulty with power steering making a terrible noise, so I took it into a shop almost a year ago, and they replaced the power steering unit, but they themselves in test driving it still have the noise. 2 more power steering units later, they said they called in a power steering specialist and found that it was something plugging a drain or a filter or something of that nature. Anyway, they cleaned it out. The noise was markedly less but never gone. And now over the year it has been increasing, and to the point where now it's pretty bad again, especially in cold weather. Not necessarily that the car is cold, but in cold weather. And so now I'm looking for somewhere I can take it who specializes in power steering, because the shop I initially went to had to even call in somebody to help them.
Well, Paula, I don't think you need a shop that specializes in power steering. We need a shop that specializes in
good diagnosis.
Good diagnosis. In knowing what they're doing. Dave's flailing over there. He knows what's wrong with the car.
This is like the senior tech moment in the automobile shop. Okay, a car comes in, power steering whine. It happens to be, I'll use a Honda in this case. And they say, oh, yeah, I need a new power steering pump. So they change out the power steering pump. Still, oh, get another power steering pump. That one must be bad. They put the power steering pump on. Now it's a rack and pinion. And now that rack and pinion must be bad, so let's get another one. And then the senior tech in the shop, he goes, man, those guys don't know what they're doing. He walks over to that car with a big old screwdriver, and he takes off the power steering cap, reservoir cap, which is up on the fender. And there's a screen in the bottom of that reservoir that restricts is plugged and restricting fluid into the pump. The pump is making noise because it's cavitating. It's being starved for fluid. So he bangs a hole in that screen, and noise goes away. 2 power steering pumps, 2 rack and pinions, and 2 frustrating weeks at the auto shop, and it's ready to go. What do you think?
And thousands of wasted dollars. So, yeah, Paula, I bet that you have a restricted screen in the power steering fluid reservoir. So you probably just need to have the screen replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in Scottsdale, depending on where you are, we have Air Park Auto Service in North Scottsdale, Whitey's Auto Repair in South Scottsdale, or any other shop at bumpertobumperradio.com. You'll find a list. If you work downtown, I'm there. And you just need to get a second set of eyes to look at that car. These Hyundais don't have a lot of power steering pump failures. Do you see them, Joel?
Not really. I'd be thinking same thing. I would replace the reservoir.
Yes.
But I would have somebody look at it before they replace it. As far as power steering specialists, that's a new one to me.
Yeah, but that's a situation where you could have a young technician working on it in power steering specialist. I don't know who that is.
Well, what they did is they called out the rep from the rebuilder of the power steering company, and the rep was like, "Yeah, well, let's sell them another rack. Maybe that'll do the job, or put another pump on."
And that word scared me more than anything else. The rebuilding company.
Right. Sell you another one. So, hey, Paula, thanks so much for the call. Looks like we're going to go with Earl in Surprise on a 2004 Hyundai Elantra. Today's Hyundai Day. Go ahead, Earl. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, I was just calling. I have a high mileage Hyundai. It's 230,000 miles, and it's doesn't have any check engine lights. I maintain it well, but it idles rough. And I take it to the shops, and they try to read the codes. It's like, well, there's nothing wrong with it. They try tuning it up, and it still idles rough. And then also it's a manual, and so I have an issue, trying to put it in reverse. You got to wiggle the stick sometime to get it in reverse and first. And I've had the clutch replaced, and just trying to figure out what could be going on. Or my shop, they could just look at, the overall health of the car and say, hey, go ahead and put $1,000 in this vehicle and you'll be good to go for another 100,000 miles or something like that.
Well, I was thinking, Earl, right away. I was thinking, motor mounts.
I was thinking motor mounts, too.
That was the classic thing, in the late 80s, early 90s. People come in, I need a tune-up. So, again, we start this quizzing, the 20 questions at the counter, and you find out you've got bad engine mounts. And usually you put the car in drive and it starts to shake. You put it in neutral, it smooths out. Engine mounts. But he says manual transmission. But the reason I'm also still maybe thinking motor mounts, he said it's hard to shift. Maybe that shifter cable is not in alignment anymore because the mounts are sagging. Just because the car feels rough, it's not always in the computer. And we always say, do you have a check engine light? That's the obvious first question. But just because the check engine light's not on doesn't mean that there's not a problem with a sensor or a dirty meter or
I was just thinking,
though,
with 230,000 miles, he's probably right. Someone should look and see how much is worth putting into this car. Like a compression test would be a good start, especially if they've done so-called tune-ups already.
Yeah, how does the rest of the car look? Does it need 4 motor mounts? And those Hyundai mounts, amazingly, are expensive if you buy the original ones. The aftermarket ones are cheap, but they're junk. So you're going to want a good OEM mount. As far as the clutch goes and the grinding, first and reverse, those are going to be 2 hardest gears to get into anyway. But if clutches fail in 2 ways, they either fail to engage or they fail to disengage. And that sounds more like a clutch disengagement issue, where the clutch is not completely disconnecting the engine from the transmission.
Well, and that's a good thing about having the car checked over. Now, you don't want the check over that the guy says, I'll just look it over for free while we're doing the oil change. That they might find 2 or 3 things, but you want that, in my opinion, like we do at my shop.
That's the guy working on the power steering pump, by the way.
Yeah, right. Oh, it looks good. You just need some of the easy stuff, You need all the stuff that I know how to do. The stuff that I don't know how to do, I'm not going to tell you. That's no good. You want somebody to scrutinize that car. And at our shop, when we go over it, you may not want to, it's like stepping on the scale. You don't want to see what the numbers are. But you need to know everything so you can make a good decision. Tell me everything that is wrong with this car, no matter what, and then we'll work through it.
Yeah, a good shop would prioritize what you need, what you got to have, and how old your car is.
Well, we've got Rick, Dave, and Larry, and we're going to do Fact or Fiction. When we come back, you're listening to Bumper Radio.
There have been so many changes in Phoenix over the past couple of decades, but one thing has not changed in all that time. Kurtz. Family owned and operated, Kurtz Auto Repair has been reliably servicing and repairing vehicles for Valley car owners for over 24 years. Just one block east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue in Bell, Kurtz has done it all with a perfect Better Business Bureau record. For service, call 602-588-2878 or check them out online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurtz.
Next to your family, there's nothing more precious than your castle, right? Kaiko Roofing understands that, which is why we are crazy about quality and protecting you, your loved ones, and your biggest investment. Don't wait for an emergency at your castle. If your roof is more than 10 years old, have the trusted pros at Kaiko Roofing give you a free inspection today. Flat, foam, tile, or shingle, Kaiko handles them all. From a small leak to a complete new roof, Kaiko has you covered. At Kaiko, we're proud to install peace of mind by using only the finest materials with the most skilled workers, all backed by the industry's best owner's pride guarantee. Since 1994, Kaiko has repaired or replaced tens of thousands of Valley roofs, with over 50% of our business coming from referrals or repeat customers. In fact, over 98% of our customers say they would refer us to a friend or family member. For a free checkup and financing options, call 602-944-4600 or go to KaikoRoofing.com for more details. Kaiko Roofing. We're crazy about quality.
Respect, dedication, fanatics. 3 words that describe both the players and fans at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Respect comes in all shapes and sizes, and Waste Management continues to lead the charge in making the tournament the greenest sporting event on earth. Nowhere is dedication more evident than the 16th hole. And fanatics? Well, we've got them both inside and outside the ropes. Be a part of the action, January 27th through February 2nd at TPC Scottsdale. Visit WMPhoenixOpen.com for more details.
You're listening to Bumper to Bumper on News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen, and the guy who's trying to steal my thunder over there is Dave Riccio. We've got Joel from Arizona Imports, Bill's Beamers in Tempe helping us today, and a couple observers sitting in here. I've got my cousin from Milwaukee or Waukesha, Wisconsin here visiting, and Irene. I hope I didn't mess it up. I have a bad memory with names. I remember Dave because I have to talk to the guy every day. So they joined us. They're here absorbing some of our beautiful weather, and they did not bring the snow with us. So thank you for that. Dave, what do you got?
It's time for Fact or Fiction. I love to play that. I'll never get tired of hearing myself say that in an echo. I sound kind of like, powerful.
Do you play that at home?
I do, as I go to sleep at night. All right, fact or fiction, is E15 bad for my car? What the heck is E15? Is it bad for my car?
I'm going to say it is, and that's fact, because I just read about it and watched the video clip. And E15 I don't even think is available in the Phoenix market, but E15 is a version of some blend of ethanol and gasoline. We have E85 in Phoenix. It's at various stations.
But it's not real common. I mean, it's not at every station you go to.
No, you're not going to see it. You might see a green price tag, which may confuse some people with diesel, but it probably has a little design or maybe some corn on it. It's derived from corn. And but
this E15, so E85 would go on if you have a flex fuel vehicle, you could run the E85. I think it's a little cheaper, but it's a little less efficient, but maybe it's a little better for the environment, but it's all debatable, But the E15 is something people are saying, you can put this in regular vehicles. It no longer has to be a flex fuel because it's just a real light amount of ethanol in it. But the problem is the separation. It separates, so you get stratification in the fuel tank of ethanol in the gasoline, so that's not a good thing.
It can be bad news, and there's several manufacturers, BMW, Ford, Chevrolet, Chrysler, Volkswagen, they're saying if you put this E15 in your car and it causes any problems, your warranty is bye-bye, adios, it's gone. And the stuff is very corrosive, so if you got friends or family in the Midwest, stay away from that stuff. It's bad news. It can ruin your car.
Well, that way if you're traveling out of town, now you know. And we do have a lot of winter visitors, such as your relatives here.
They're just driving through, Dave.
Passing through. We're going to go with Dave in Phoenix on a 2006 Ford Mustang GT. Go ahead, Dave. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey guys, I've got the Mustang, and it's got about 97,000 miles on it, but the spark plugs have never been changed. And talking to a couple different people, heard that there's a real high potential for the spark plugs to strip out as they're being removed. Is that something you're aware of?
It is possible. It was more common on the F series trucks and the 5.4 engine, not so much the 4.6 liter. But there's very, very little spark plugs left, or very little threads on those spark plugs. And I think even some of the threads would protrude down into the cylinder just a little bit and get carbon buildup on them. And that carbon is very hard, so when you go to back that spark plug out of the cylinder, it just takes the threads right out of the cylinder.
There's even service bulletins teaching you how to replace the plugs by tightening them first a little bit, spraying solvents down there, letting them soak. I haven't seen on the Mustangs. I've seen on the F-150s and 250s quite a bit.
I wouldn't be terribly worried about it. If you're using a good fuel, a top-tier fuel that's got carbon-fighting elements in it, that's going to help keep the carbon down. Maybe you could go run a can of cleaner through the tank before you change the spark plugs, maybe a Techron or Liqui Moly products, Seafoam, all that stuff you can get at Napa and some auto parts stores. Try that, but I don't think you're going to have a problem. That's not one of the ones that's an issue.
It's a good point, though, when they make these spark plugs that are supposedly last 110, 120,000 miles, and that's the service interval on them, that is a problem. They've been in there too long. The plug is steel, the head is aluminum. They expand and contract at different rates, and when that happens for 100,000 miles, they're kind of stuck.
Well, and you need to, it's so hard to know what shop is the good shop, but I see my guys out in the shop the last couple of years, they're using a torque wrench on everything. Joel, you go to put spark plugs in that Honda. I used to just go, stop, you get some resistance, quarter turn.
Done.
Charles, my tech, that guy lives with the torque wrench. He's like, Matt, look at this spark plug. And I go to tighten the torque wrench. I mean, it's nothing. You tighten the screw on your sunglasses tighter in some cases.
Charles would use a torque wrench on his toilet handle.
Everything. And that's the problem, though. So maybe the spark plugs come out easy this time, and then the guy that puts them in reefs them in there, and then you get a hold of it next time, and out comes all the threads. And by the way, if that happens on the way out, it's not the shop's fault. That's just one of those
part of the
things.
deal.
Yeah.
Well, I had a friend that was complaining about the spark plug change he got that cost him $800, and he's like, "Was I done wrong?" And I'm like, "No, things went wrong, and those spark plugs aren't easy to go to, but the shop is just working on a design flaw, really. Bad recommendation as far as the length of life of the plug in there, and also the short threads. There's not many threads on the spark plugs. So thanks so much for the call. We're going to go with Larry quickly in Sun City on a 2012 Equinox. Go ahead, Larry. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yeah, good morning. I have a 2012 Equinox LTZ V6. I went in and get the car. The oil changed at 14,500. I do it every 5,000. And when I went into the dealership, they said, well, also besides changing your oil, we need to clean your fuel system. And I said, what do you do there? And they said, we'll clean your fuel injectors and fuel filter. And I said, how much is that? They said $349. And I told them no, but that was a week ago. But I got thinking about it, and I couldn't find anything in the manual. That maybe in Phoenix here, something like that has to be done.
Bend over and I'll show you.
David, are you suggesting, Dave, that maybe that's a little aggressive?
I mean, he's only got 14,000 miles on it. It's a 2012. It's only 2 years old. I just feels premature. But I could be. Maybe I don't know all the facts.
Well, you're not going to see. Maybe we need to make this another topic next weekend because we're not going to get to all this now. But Larry, get that car out and exercise a little bit. Floorboard the thing, getting on the freeway, blow it out. There's something to be said about that. You could do 15,000 miles is a little bit premature.
Sounds too young to me
on that car, but some imports some Audis, Volkswagens, Joel, direct injection.
Direct injection, absolutely.
You need it. But on that car, I'd be maybe save your money, wait till 30, and maybe it's time to go to Bumper Radio and find another shop.
We'll do some research this week, Larry, and we'll address it next week. Thanks for joining us. If you're looking for a shop to start a relationship with, such as Arizona Import Specialists in Tempe, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. Be sure to like the show on Facebook while you're there. Thanks, Peter, for running the dials. Remember not to text and drive unless you're texting our show. That is okay. Next weekend, I think we're going to be talking about fuel injection cleaner, so we can help Larry out.
Engine decarbon, fuel injection. Maybe we'll find out some more about the fuel.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions, for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at tricitytransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.
Hi, this is Greg LaFonsi of Automotive Diagnostic Specialties. Yes, we realize this is a long name to remember, but most of our customers know us simply as ADS. ADS is a family-owned and operated, state-of-the-art, full-service automotive repair facility with an expert staff that has helped us earn the coveted AAA Top Shop Award as one of the best shops in the nation for the second straight year in a row. We are honored, humbled, and dedicated to providing the same level of service to you and your family. We will always strive to get it done right the first time so that you will leave with a smile on your face after every repair or service. ADS is a bumper-to-bumper radio approved shop with a long name but a short, simple goal. Customer satisfaction is our #1 priority, and everything else takes care of itself. Just east of I-10 on Chandler Boulevard, ADS proudly serves Ahwatukee, Chandler, Tempe, Gilbert, and Southeast Phoenix. Stop by or check us out at automotivediagnosticspecialties.com today.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Dave.
We're the car guys from the Bumper to Bumper radio show, heard right here on News Talk 92.3 KTAR every Saturday from 11 to noon.
Bumper to Bumper Radio, it's just like your favorite warm and comfy blanket for all your automotive needs.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Dave. And we're here not just on Saturdays, but 24/7 at bumpertobumperradio.com for all the very best repair and service shops in Phoenix.
Yep, right advice, products, and partners are all at Bumper